Kathy Kress again, and I am back for my playlist, Assessing the Caregiver. And we're going to give you an example because I find I've taught at a lot of places, Berkeley, San Francisco State, the University of Florida, high school. And I find as a teacher that you find out more by example than you find out by anything. So I could use these big words, but I got to give you an example. So this is Mrs. Handy, and if you really want to refresh that information, there's a great book that I did, and I never do these books alone. So great, I mean, it was a great group effort. Care managers working with the aging family, and I have a whole chapter on caregiver assessment, and Mrs. Handy is in it. So let's talk about Mrs. Handy. Mrs. Handy has a dad. His name's Mr. Wilson. He has vascular dementia. So it's just a form of dementia. We don't need to go into that. But she works. Now, in all the other episodes, I've been talking about this caregiver overload. She works. She has 3 kids. One's in daycare, child daycare. Her father is in adult daycare. And 2 of the children are in elementary school. She works at a school herself. So she's got a lot of overload. She finds that her dad he was always a night owl, so he won't go to bed, and she has to change his adult diaper. So she starts usually around 10 o'clock trying to get, him to take his clothes off, because he can't do that, and, to get the adult diaper changed, you got to take the clothes off first. And that runs into all sorts of problems, keeping her up many, many hours into the night, and if she can't do it, he will sit in his recliner all night. And he'll stay awake, so then he's too tired to go to the adult daycare, which means is she going to not go to work that day because she doesn't have any care during the day. She doesn't have any money to hire a private caregiver. Her family is, the middle class that we talk about now politically, down and out. And her husband's really frustrated. It's another problem that she has because, they have an emotional relationship, a sexual relationship, and she's too exhausted to do anything. So her husband's frustrated. Her oldest son is acting out in school. Her younger child in daycare started wetting his pants, which he hadn't done before. And she's been late to work a lot, and her job is threatened. So she calls to get a caregiver assessment because she is over the edge, and she feels like she's got to place her father, put him at a higher level of care. So that's a trigger for her calling a geriatric care manager. Care manager comes in and identifies through a caregiver assessment, and I'm going to talk about how you do that next, that one of the things she has to do is change her dad's routine. He has to get changed to go to bed earlier. But she has to have insight into that problem because she is still seeing him as 45 in her head, and her is 19, in that she does not want to make him mad. So she's stuck with this 2-parent dilemma. Because what does she need? She needs sleep to be able to go to work, not be late, help her children, etc., etc. So she needs caregiver resources, which she doesn't know anything about. The first thing the geriatric care manager does is coach her to get the dad to go to bed earlier. And that's one thing you can be as a geriatric care manager and get out of a caregiver assessment is your coaching. So coach her to not be 19. And then basically the other thing that is identified in the caregiver assessment is she has this whole informal caregiver team that's not working. She has a whole family, and she's the oldest daughter. So she's identified that she is the one that has to take all this on because that's bred into her. So I'll talk to you in the next playlist. I've just done 5. We're going to do 6 right now. Go to my website, kathykress.com, and I blog along with this.